up, everyone? This is Clock Management. I'm your host, Justin, and as always, I am joined by Perry.
Good morning, Justin.
Thank you.
I gotta say, buddy, you're looking good on a scale of 1 to America. How free are you tonight?
Very, very free.
Very
Everything is
nice.
closed, so I literally can't do
Yeah, true, true.
I guess that's not really, that's like opposite of free, I guess. I'm caged.
Yeah. I've got like a bunch of friends that I play video games with, just like online friends, and they message me all the time and they're like, "Hey, what are you doing tonight?" And I'm like, "Nothing." Every night. Just assume it's nothing from now on. Like,
The funny part is I say that like it's COVID's fault, but I already did nothing before this.
Yeah. No, same. For me, like everybody's like, I can't go out to bars and hang out. It's like, yeah, that's just terrible. But meanwhile, like the whole time I'm like, I just get to play games tonight. Like, this is all right.
The only way it affects me is I don't get to go watch superhero movies in theaters now.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of a bummer.
And that's literally it.
One downside has not been able to see like close friends, but
Yeah,
I got to
that's
see
true.
you a couple days ago.
Yeah. I actually came by your work and
I know. That was awesome. And
I
you know
tried
what?
I tried the blackberry liqueur that I got from you. Delicious.
It's very good, right?
Yeah, my wife loves it too.
Yeah, tell her my hands were in it.
I might leave that part out.
I used to make that joke at work all the time. And then, there was a global pandemic, so I kind of stopped.
Yeah, people probably appreciate that.
But it's high proof alcohol, okay? Like, it's killing everything.
Right.
I promise you.
But today we're going to be talking about football on here at some point.
Why?
Yeah, right. I don't know.
Because anything we try to predict, it just doesn't work out. This season is crazy.
Yeah, but 2020 is almost over, Perry, and then we'll get back to normalcy. Or
yeah,
so that's what people seem to think.
January 1st, I'm definitely going to just go back to normal. Everything's going to be fine. Christian McCaffrey will no longer be hurt all the time. It's terrible.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some waivers and then what handcuffs you need to own going into the playoffs for fantasy football. So
do not be the guy that gets an injury the week before the playoffs and then has to try and fight to find a replacement on the waiver. Already have that replacement.
Yeah.
Be the guy that's laughing at everybody when they're like, you already own him? And it's like, yes, of course I do. I'm better at this than you. That's a handcuff.
But before we get into anything, Perry, we don't have an autographed jersey to give away yet. I mean, I'll be announcing a new one this month, but we are giving away one right now.
Right now. Danny Carr, thanks for your comment.
Yeah, come on
and your
in,
subscription on YouTube. I hope that you are a long lost Carr brother and you can go talk to your current playing Carr brother and tell him to not do what he did last week ever again. Ever again. That was terrible. But you are the winner of the signed James Conner jersey, and don't worry, it is COVID free. I know James Conner might not be right now,
but
this jersey
pre-COVID.
Yes.
So
this jersey has been sealed in a bag for a while. So you're good, man. Congratulations on the jersey. Justin will be messaging you.
Yes.
Very soon.
All right. Now let's get into some news, Perry.
News, man. I'm just going to say this, Justin, because if I miss a piece of news, you can fill in for me. But I know there's so much like COVID news going on right now. There's a lot of weird nagging injuries going on right now. But I will say the most important piece of news is Matt Patricia's gone. Okay. Matt Patricia's been fired. Thank God. And did you see
I
the
missed
hate
it
that
when
he got on Twitter?
So I missed it when he initially got fired. I don't know what I was doing, but I was busy. And then I came across a post at a later time about like, oh, the best part of my year is that Matt Patricia is gone.
Yeah.
And I was
Darius Slay
what?
tweeted out, "Oh, so it wasn't me."
Yes.
Yeah. absolutely roasted by former players, current players. Apparently he is
roasted,
not a player's coach.
DK then roasted Slade last night.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, DK made Slade look really bad last night. But I mean, DK, let's just bask in the glory that was our prediction going into the season, Justin.
Yeah.
DK is the number 1 wide receiver on the Seahawks. Yep. I think there's no doubt about that right now.
Yeah, then absolutely. He's a top 10 wide receiver.
Oh, I think he's a top 5 talent in the NFL.
Oh, yeah, but fantasy-wise, I'm saying right now he is top 10. And
imagine if he held onto the ball just a little bit better.
Or if he fell a yard further. There's been twice he's been tackled on the 1 yard line.
Right. No, he's really good. I think that he's insanely athletic and he's clearly got talent, but I think that talent was just a little rough coming into the NFL. And the jump from year 1 to year 2 has been insane. I think that next year DK will threaten as the number 1 overall wide receiver.
Yeah. So I think he'll be in my top 3 for sure. Just way too early prediction. But also
okay. News.
You also don't want to be the wide receiver in front of him because he will chase you down.
Right. Yes, he will. Yeah. Okay, news. J.K. Dobbins and Mark Ingram are now eligible to play on Wednesday Night Football. Yeah, I said that right. Wednesday Night Football, because the Steelers-Ravens game has now been postponed again.
As a Bronco fan, Perry, how upset are you that their game got postponed twice?
I brought this up to a coworker, and it was like, the Broncos have no quarterbacks. The NFL's like, sorry, you have to play anyways. So then we have to bring in a practice squad wide receiver that threw a ball once in high school, so they thought he could play quarterback. And this isn't this kid's fault. I'm gonna be clear. All right, he literally had no business out there playing quarterback. But anyways, the Ravens and Steelers have a bunch of COVID issues, and they're just like, well, let's postpone it. Oh, you still are having them? Okay, let's postpone it again. Oh, it's still going on. Let's just push it to Wednesday. There's never been an NFL game played on Wednesday. Let's do it for you guys. But sorry, Denver, you're just going to go lose 33-3, and your quarterback's going to have more interceptions and completions because he's actually a wide receiver that doesn't belong on the NFL.
The day after that, we'll clear your quarterbacks to play.
Yes. Anyways, I'm not salty about that.
Dude,
yeah,
and I'm sure the Steelers are not happy about this as well.
I know. I would like an explanation from the NFL, because what we were told going into the season is you will play, right? Like, you will field a roster and you will play, which is what happened with Denver, which is why I wasn't upset at that point. It was like, man, this sucks. Our quarterback should have been smarter about what they were doing in their everyday life. But then this gets pushed back again, and I'm like, this is malarkey.
And what's funny,
President Joe Biden would say,
not as it didn't affect the 49ers as bad as it did the Broncos, obviously, because it wasn't a quarterback. But the 49ers had the similar situation with all their wide receivers on a Thursday night game, and that game didn't get pushed back. And how easy is it to push a Thursday game to Sunday?
Yeah, I know. Crazy. Anyways, J.K. Dobbins will be able to play. Mark Ingram will be able to play. So if you were relying on Gus Edwards, I'm sorry. Yeah. I think this just reverts back to, I don't know what to do in this backfield. It does appear that Lamar Jackson will not be able to play unless they decide to postpone this game until next week, and
they could still push it to Thursday because they already canceled Thursday's game, and the new week doesn't start until Friday now.
It's crazy. Lamar Jackson has to complete a 10-day isolation before he can play, so I don't think he's going to be able to play, but the NFL sure wants him to. Like, they sure want Lamar Jackson on that field. But yeah, sorry if you own Lamar Jackson, but this is BS. I don't care. Anyways, Dalvin Cook A lot of you watched him go down with a season-ending injury. Oh, but then he just popped back up. He seems to do this every week. So, Dalvin Cook, if you see him get injured, you got to wait until the end of the game to be sure. Just assume that he's fine. And he is good to go for next week, it appears. Will Fuller has been suspended 6 games. I believe I was talking to Dr. Ben the other day. He texted me as soon as Will Fuller got suspended for performance-enhancing drugs, and he said, "Hey, you're in luck. Now Will Fuller won't play an entire season because I predicted that Will Fuller will never play an entire season, and yeah, I said that it was there was no chance. So he said that his nickname is now Will No Chance Fuller, and I kind of like that.
I liked Will Fuller of steroids.
I don't think he was on steroids. I think this was just like there's like a lot of weird banned substances for the NFL, and they're in a lot of medications. Now, I'm not like giving Will Fuller an out here. I mean, if I were in the NFL, everything I put into my body would be okayed by the NFL. Like I would literally reach out.
Yeah, I would call them, "Hey, can I take this?"
Hey, I'm about to take some Tums because my tummy hurts. Is it okay? Because I don't want to get in any sort of trouble. But did you see another Texans player got the same thing happened?
Who was it? Roby?
Yes. Bradley Roby.
And they have the same trainer.
Right. So fire that trainer. This kind of sucks. Will Fuller, very good this season. So, tough. He will be out for the remainder of the regular season.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor, who is on the reserve of COVID right now, should be available for week 13. He did not test positive for COVID. He was just considered at risk due to high contact or due to close contact. So don't worry about Jonathan Taylor. He should be back this coming week. Zach Ertz was not active last night, and I do not expect him to be active next week or week 13. Pay attention, though. It could happen, but with what we got out of Dallas Goedert last night, everybody's hoping that Zach Ertz doesn't come back, especially if you own Dallas Goedert. It was nice to see Dallas Goedert get the bulk of the work. I think he had 10 targets, 7 receptions, 75 yards, and a touchdown. That's a really, really good day out of a tight end. Daniel Jones, probably going to miss some time here. If Carson Wentz goes down, Justin, the entire division will be playing with backup quarterbacks.
Well, he doesn't have to go down. There's talk of benching him. Yeah.
Yeah. I still don't blame Carson Wentz.
No,
I still think the Carson Wentz is better.
Line is horrible. He's playing with a new receiver, a new set of receivers every week.
Yeah, I would love to see Carson Wentz just on a different team. Like that. That's the test I need. I think
the
he's
49ers or something,
or the Broncos. Anyways, Daniel Jones might miss some time. Personally, the very few fantasy options on that team now just get a little bit worse again. So honestly, I think if you're relying on any of the fantasy options on the Giants, you're probably struggling to make the playoffs at the moment. That's how I feel. So
but we do have Jordan some waivers that may help you here in a minute.
We got a few. Jordan Wilkins, according to Frank Wright, who's the coach, is looking pretty banged up. And I pay attention to what coaches say when it's negative.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. When they're positive, I just ignore them because.
Or if their name's Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll has no idea what he's a very good coach, but
he might even know. He either has no idea or he's a very good liar.
Yeah. I think he's just like super positive. Oh, my cat. Do you guys see my cat in the camera?
Yeah,
or no?
Kind of see the corner of him.
Hi, buddy. Yeah. He's trying to eat my plate that was left over from dinner last night. I'm a slob, guys. Go on, Buzz. Anyways, I had a high school teacher that literally was always positive. I would like go into his office at lunch. He was my golf coach, and I would be like, "Man, I broke my leg today at lunch," and he'd be like, "Well, hey man, a new challenge for you to figure out. That's awesome." Yeah, that's Pete Carroll.
I would hate that person.
I know that person's just terrible, but you gotta like him at the same time. Sorry. I've had 3 cups of coffee this morning, guys. I'm rolling.
Nice.
Anyways, Frank Wright says that Jordan Wilkins looks pretty banged up. I'm gonna listen to that.
Yeah.
So obviously I don't think any of us were really starting Jordan Wilkins, or you may have been in a deep league, but this is really good news for Naheem Hines and Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
I think this just kind of pushes them up a little bit. I think you were already starting Jonathan Taylor. We all have these like expectations now that he's probably a low end RB2. That gets pushed up maybe into a high end RB2 with Jordan Wilkins out. And Naheem Hines has been pretty decent and is now startable in certain situations. So, and then last piece of news here, DJ Moore, his x-rays came back negative, which means no breaks, which is really good news. It looked pretty bad for him. We still don't have like an actual disclosed injury yet, or we didn't as of last night. So we're waiting to hear. They have a bye week this week, the Panthers do. So obviously he's not going to be on the field this week. We really want to see if he's going to suit up against Denver in week 14.
Yeah, and also, did you? Oh yeah, you talked about Danny Dimes already.
Sorry,
yeah.
I had to sneeze.
Okay, well, I'll get us into some news no one cares about then, Perry.
Okay, you could probably mute your mic for that since nobody cares.
you would think so, but I mean, some people are.
It's literally the best thing. It's literally the best part of the show. Let's be honest.
Tyreek Hill commends Mahomes on his desire to win in a video. I want to know which players in the NFL don't have a desire to win.
Danny Dimes.
Good point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess anyone on the Jets organization.
Yeah, the Jets organization, the Giants organization. Yeah, I don't think they're really in it to win it.
They're just happy to be part of the NFL.
Yeah, they're just at the dance. They don't have a date though.
I can see that with Adam Gase. He creeps people out. All right. How is he still a coach, by the way?
Is he?
Yeah.
Are we sure about that?
I mean, he still has an office.
It is 2020.
Yeah.
Anyways.
All right. CMC.
Moving on.
There's a video of CMC catching the ball behind his back. Which, I mean, that's really cool.
Sounds like he should be playing.
Yeah. Or how about just catch any ball in a game?
How about just
be on the field?
Be on the field so I can continue to win games, but not be stressed out about it.
San Francisco, Santa Clara made it so they cannot play any contact sports there due to COVID restrictions.
Yeah, but wait, the NFL has a solution.
Yeah, San Francisco is going to play all their home games in Arizona, which is funny because this is over the next 3 weeks, and they have 2 home games over that time, and then this week they have an away game at Arizona. So they're going to just go play at Arizona and then take over their stadium for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. Oof.
I hope they win that game against Arizona as a 49er fan, so they can be like, yeah, we took your stadium from you. We won this stadium instead of losing there, and then you have to sit there in that team's stadium for the next 2 weeks.
They're playing for pinks.
Yeah. Poor Arizona, they're gonna win and they can't even play there.
Yeah.
And then last piece of news no one cares about: Matt Nagy urges Bears to wake up and show personal pride after their embarrassing loss, according to him.
Did he get that note from Matt Patricia?
Man, like Matt Nagy is the one telling them to wake up and show personal pride. Like, since when is he the one pushing this narrative? Like, come on, Matt Nagy, you need to wake up. You're part of the problem.
Definitely part of the problem.
All right, that's all the news no one cares about.
Right on. Cool. Well, what do you want to do first, Justin? You want to do waivers?
Yeah, let's do waivers first.
Let's do waivers first. I'm relatively excited about waivers this week. I think there's some actual legitimate waiver options, but I do think a lot of them have a fairly high percentage of owned. But my number one waiver, flat out, for the entire week is Latavius Murray.
Yeah, which our last waiver episode, he was on my list, I believe, as my number one.
Yes, I put in a waiver for him before this week's game was played. Like I really like Latavius Murray. I don't think, like, here's the deal. I'm not that worried about Alvin Kamara. I do think production will go down, but I do not think what happened last week and this week is the new norm with Alvin Kamara. I just think it's 2 down weeks, and I think they're trying to figure out this system with Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill's winning games for them, although it was against a team without a quarterback, so I'm not going to give him all the credit in the world. But
I tweeted out Murray, that Taysom Hill should have been all-time quarterback for that game. Just play for the Broncos and the Saints.
Even if Taysom Hill tried, like if they're like, you do have to go play quarterback for the Broncos too, and he's like, okay, well, I'm going to try to lose, he still would have done better. So, anyways, Latavius Murray is number one priority for me. He's borderline startable with Alvin Kamara on the field, and then we'll talk about him as a handcuff for sure, but if Alvin Kamara were to go down. So for me, Latavius Murray is the top overall pick. Do you concur, Doctor?
I concur.
Perfect. Another guy, number 2 for me is actually Frank Gore.
Yes.
Yeah. He will not die. Old man strength. Frank Gore.
He just won't go away.
Yeah. LaMichael Pirine is now on IR. The only guy there now is Frank Gore. Franklin Gorsif. Yeah, I don't think he's going to go out there and wow us with his athletic prowess.
He won't.
But he is going to slam into that pile like 25 times.
Yeah, and he's going, when he slams into a pile, he brings all 98 years with him in that, collision. So they feel it, and he falls forward for at least a yard every time.
He's like the Avatar, where he has the spirit of all past avatars in him. So I'm done with that. That was a really good analogy if you're an Avatar The Last Airbender fan. Anyway. Gus Edwards is on a lot of people's list, but keep in mind now that J.K. Dobbins and Mark Ingram
his
are
value
back,
is very low.
Gone. Remove those waiver priorities right now while you still have a chance. I'm going to ask you about this next one, and I want your opinion on the Atlanta backfield, Justin. Because you were the Ito boy last season.
Yeah.
But it doesn't appear to be Ito's backfield.
No, but also, I mean, like I said, this year, Ito's just not that good. Even when given the opportunity, he can't produce from it. So it's not even that it's not his backfield. It's like they both get opportunities in that backfield. He's just not able to produce given the opportunity.
If Todd Gurley were to miss more time, which one are you going to go start? You have to start one of them.
I'm going with Hill.
Yeah.
I can't, like I said, I can't trust Ito. Like I'm watching him play, it's painful.
Yeah, I think Brian Hill has to be a higher waiver than Ito Smith, and Brian Hill's not even on some lists, which is pretty wild. So, um, I would go for Brian Hill, and you could probably get him cheaper than Ito.
Yeah, probably free
Probably free.
in a lot of leagues, depending on how deep your league is. You know, obviously look at it, see who's available there.
Right. Okay. Some wide receivers. Somebody that we have to talk about, which is really surprising because I think a couple of weeks ago I said, don't let this guy be on waiver. It's Debo Samuel.
Yeah. Yeah.
He is still very much available in a lot of leagues, and Debo Samuel he's probably the best player on that team right now that isn't injured.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, sad,
like, honestly,
sad George Kittle.
I don't care that his average depth of target is non-existent. Once the ball's in his hand, he does whatever he wants with it. So, yeah, Debo Samuel is going to touch the ball a ton. Debo Samuel is easily a wide receiver 2 with wide receiver 1 upside if he finds the end zone. Debo Samuel is just behind Latavius Murray for me, just because I value running backs higher than wide receivers.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel about Michael Pittman Jr.?
I really like him. He had a tough week this week against the Titans defense, you know, kind of to be expected. But he's been solid outside of that. So I'm not afraid of grabbing him. I love rostering him. He's been, like I said, he's been solid. And Phillip Rivers has been targeting him like a ton. So I think he'll be fine going forward. He's probably my second favorite waiver on out there.
Okay.
Second favorite out of wide receivers.
Right. We both have Debo as number 1, obviously. I'm going to give you 4 names here, and I want you to rank those 4 names, okay?
Okay.
Michael Pittman Jr., Cole Beasley, Corey Davis, and Alan Lazard.
Oh, okay. Pittman is going to be number 1 out of those guys. Then
even with John Brown out.
I mean, yeah, because I think Pittman carries that value going forward.
Okay.
Then I'm going to go with Alan Lazard and then the Beasles. And who was the last
Corey
one?
Davis.
Yeah, Corey Davis.
God.
Yeah, that guy.
You love to hate him, don't you?
I do. He makes it so easy.
Oh man, that one's pretty tough for me.
You know, and
I'm glad that I asked you the
couple
question.
Years, yeah, in a couple years, he's going to be my TJ Yeldon.
That's mean. That's mean. I can't believe he said that. That's mean. Anybody else on this list that you'd like to bring up, Justin?
Yeah, one guy, Denzel Mims. He is on a horrible offense, and he is by far the best talent on that offense. So I think that it's quite possible that he, you know, could get some targets. He's not going to be a week winning player. Like, that's not going to happen. But
if he's available in Dynasty.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I would be shocked in your Dynasty if he is. But if he is, you go grab him right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, even like in redraft, I think you can stash him if you have empty roster spot or something like that, and just see what happens.
Yeah. Couple guys to look at. Just mention them real quick. Jacoby Myers, T.Y. Hilton, Jalen Reagor, all people that you should consider depending on your situation. But again, everybody we mentioned before is probably higher on that list.
Yeah.
So tight ends, tight end world is crazy. For me, number 1 is Austin Hooper. If he's available, you have to go get Austin Hooper. Robert Tonyan should be mentioned. He's had 2 back-to-back good weeks, but he put together like 3 stinkers before that. I'm not exactly sure what to do with Robert Tonyan. I think I'm avoiding him still, but he might make me look bad next week if he goes and scores again. But Dalton Schultz, now that Andy Dalton's back, I feel pretty good about Dalton Schultz. Again, these are guys that you're expecting just to crack the top 10 and make you not lose because of your tight end. Logan Thomas, Justin, is there anybody you wanted to mention? Is there one?
I mean,
are you gonna do it again?
No, no. But with the wide receivers, I wanted to bring up too, with Will Fuller out or gone. Brandon Cooks obviously takes over that number one roster spot, and then Randall Cobb was cut from the team, so that creates kind of a void there, which they have.
Kiki QT.
Yeah, Kiki QT, and then in Dynasty, you're gonna see Isaiah Coulter, or I'm not how to say that last name exactly, but I believe it's Coulter, Coulter.
I'm just gonna let you ride.
Yeah, I'll go with it again, Coulter. But I think he's actually a pretty good talent coming in as a rookie, or I believe this is second year. But now he'll get more of an opportunity to get out on the field and perform. So I think in a dynasty, that's a great pickup.
Okay. It's now you all understand how Justin feels about tight ends.
Yes, that perfectly explains how I feel about the tight end position.
Do you have off the top of your head any quarterback streams for this coming week?
Shoot, I'm looking at a few of them. Like, I none that I'm like excited about for seriously for this week.
Well, here, let me ask a few, and you just give me a 1 out of 10 on confidence. Tua against the Bengals.
Is Tua healthy and playing?
Yeah. Oh, that's a good question. Let's move on.
Yeah, I need to look that up, honestly. If he's playing, then yeah, I love it.
Kirk Cousins against the Jaguars.
Yeah, I mean, it's Kirk Cousins, but it's also
1 out of 10, Justin.
I'm going with a 6.
Okay. Kirk's put together a couple good weeks. I think I'd go with an 8.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's just been all right. Phillip Rivers against the Texans.
Well, I'm gonna go with a 7 on that one. I think I'd rather start Phillip Rivers in that game. Oh, that's gross.
All right, Derek Carr, after what he did last week, which was not good against the Jets.
That one's an 8 for me.
Oof, man, the trust. Right, you're white knuckling that start right there.
Oh yeah, but you look at what he did this week, but then also look at what he did against the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
True. So inconsistent play, and with the Jets, you have to assume he's going to play well. And if he doesn't, the Jets will intercept the ball and lateral it backwards so someone could get a touchdown.
Jared Goff against the Cardinals.
Oh, no. 4.
4? All right. Does not like Goff.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. Does not like Goff. I think that's about it.
And that's a divisional one. I just think it's going to be a low-scoring game with lots of running the ball. It's going to, man, that's going to be a rough game.
Cool. Okay. And then streaming defenses really quickly. Anybody jumping out at you for streaming defense, Justin?
For the defenses, the Green Bay Packers probably going to be pretty good against the Eagles this week.
Mm-hmm.
I also really like the Bears against the Lions. And anyone, the cheat code, obviously, the Raiders, that's going to probably be my number one streaming because they're out there available, I'm sure. They're also playing the Jets, who turn over if you ask them to. You don't even have to say please. You just ask.
What about the Niners against the Bills? Are we assuming the Bills are bad now and the Niners are good again?
I mean, obviously I am as a 49er fan, and I love to have my heart broken. So
all things are pointing to that being the case. So I don't know.
After 1 week.
Right. Well, hey, the Niners actually are in the playoff hunt right now.
Yeah, technically. until this week.
Okay.
They're going to lose this game.
All right. Should we move on?
Let's do it.
To some handcuffs.
Yeah, so I'll kind of lead the dance on this one, Perry.
Nice. I'll just step on your feet and you carry me around.
All right, so I think the number
Is that like dads and daughters dance? It's so cute.
The
Go on.
number one waiver wire or not waiver wire handcuff to own. I think this season has been for running backs. This is crazy. Chase Edmonds.
Mm-hmm.
He's absolutely killed it. When he was the lead back, he carried the load. He usually plays better with Kenyon Drake in the lineup, which is even crazier.
Right.
But despite like him putting up these great numbers, he's had one touchdown this season. He averages over 5 yards a carry. He's had over 40 receptions on the year, 47 targets. So in like PPR, obviously that's a bonus, and he's almost startable just going week to week already. He's like on that verge. So, I mean, I think this is a guy that you need to own, especially if you have Kenyon Drake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. He's not top of my list I mean, handcuffs are kind of weird, right? It's kind of based on who you own.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, if you're the Drake owner, then Chase Edmonds is probably top of your list. Right?
Yeah. But next guy, Perry, I mean, I think you would agree with me that this is an important one. That's Mike Davis.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the CMC owner, obviously Mike Davis moves up quite a bit.
Yeah.
Mike Davis was really, I think a lot of people are living off the Mike Davis from like
weeks.
The first couple weeks. I was just gonna pull up and see how he did this week.
He did not do great.
Not great. So for me, even if you're the CMC owner, like this isn't up there with like the Latavius Murray, with the Chase Edmonds, with the Tony Pollards. That's not exactly where I'd have him.
But you probably want to own this dude as the CMC owner.
But the playoff schedule.
Yeah.
Denver week 1, that's tough. Green Bay week 2, very good. Washington week 3, very good. And if you're playing in week 17, I'm sorry, but you have New Orleans, so you don't want to play in week 17. But that Green Bay Washington,
also you don't want to because it's week 17.
Right. So, yes, I mean Mike Davis should definitely probably be owned by the CMC owner, but don't expect to have the, weeks 3, 4, and 5 Mike Davis. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
I don't think.
Yeah, maybe. But maybe in the playoffs he might be able to with that lineup.
Maybe. I mean, I don't think you should mess around and not have him if you're the CMC owner, but he's been single-digit fantasy points almost every week since week 6. So.
Yeah. But you don't want to be stuck looking on the waiver wire for a running back either.
Hey, my choices when CMC went down were James Robinson or Mike Davis.
Yeah, I mean,
I went with James Robinson, and I've been, anyways.
But at week 13 or 14, those won't be your options.
Hey, Justin, with how this season's gone, I'm gonna find somebody. I'm in second place, and I've found somebody, and I've lost CMC, Joe Mixon, Austin Eckler, and Adam Thielen. So, I don't know. This is easy, dude. Just be me, okay? Sorry. Just going off the rails here. Let's talk about Geo Bernard.
Yeah, that's actually the next one on my list. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I sent you the list as well.
I got Geo Bernard as well. I picked him up. Joe Mixon went down.
Yeah, so Joe Mixon, he had 5 starts, and he's averaged 10 carries and 3 receptions for 65 yards a game, and he's had 3 touchdowns over those 5 games. So, I mean, those are pretty decent numbers. It's right around a flex play start, and most of the games have been better than that. He had, I believe, 1 or 2 off games that brought down that average. So he's a good start to me.
Yeah, I mean, his production's been a little down the last 3 weeks, so I'm a little bit worried. But, he played Pittsburgh, who's a pretty tough matchup. Washington's defense isn't awesome. I expected him to have a little bit better day, but they're okay. Yeah, I'm a little worried about Geo. They need to keep him involved in the passing game.
Yeah,
like,
that's the
most important part.
That's the thing with Washington too. They're bad against running backs, but they're actually good against stopping the pass.
Yeah.
Specifically. So I think that's where it hurt him.
I think week 13 against Miami, not expecting a huge game from him, but he's got Dallas the first week of the playoffs, week 14, Dallas. Week 15 against Pittsburgh, he's a sit. I think he's sit in week 15, but that Dallas, he could win you that week, that first week of the playoffs. And in the playoffs, it's all about winning that week. That's what you need to worry about. Win that week. You have to win to move forward, obviously. So, but yeah. And then if you can get to the championship and Joe Mixon's still out, Houston is not to be scared of. Do not be afraid of Houston. Start him for sure against Houston. And if you all go look at his profile picture on Fantasy Pros, he is the #1 fantasy player for mustache. He has the best mustache.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you need to say, really, right?
Yeah.
All
right. Talk about Philippe Lindsay.
So Philip Lindsay, he's hasn't been very consistent.
He's had injuries. He's also dealing with another pretty good running back there.
Yeah, but
go on.
Even when he is a starter, he varies from 7 to 23 carries during that time. Like some games down in single digits, some games up in the 20s. Which, I mean, those 20 games are great. The ones down in single digits, not so great, because he also varies from 20 yards to 101 yards. And the game, or 23 yards to 101 yards. And the game that he had 7 carries wasn't even the one he had 23 yards in. But the bad part. He's had 1 catch in 8 targets during those games that he started. And we've seen greatness out of this guy. He's one of my favorite running backs to stash there, because if Melvin Gordon goes down, I do expect him to be productive. And I think that if you own Melvin Gordon, you want to have this guy. And you never wish injury upon anyone, but it would be great if one of them was not able to start for some reason.
I really like Philip Lindsay. I kind of wish Denver never got Melvin Gordon. I'm just going to say it. I don't think that they made the team better in getting Melvin Gordon. But that's kind of beyond the point here. That's not what we're talking about. The big thing with Philip Lindsay is I don't blame him. I think that the team is not using him correctly. The last 2 seasons, he had 35 receptions.
Yeah.
This season, he has 8.
Yeah.
It's like, what the heck is going on here? Philip Lindsay should definitely be owned if you're the Melvin Gordon owner, but I kind of just have Melvin Gordon slightly ahead just because he's probably going to score the touchdown. But I think that Philip Lindsay's probably just as good of a player at this point in Melvin Gordon's career. So,
yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Alexander Madison, the Vikings running back. So, I mean, we've basically gotten to see 2 full games out of him as the lead back. One of those he wasn't the starter in, but Dalvin Cook got injured early in the game. Also,
right, and he was amazing.
Yeah, in that game he was amazing. The one he started was a blowout loss to the Falcons, and they just stopped running the ball. Like they had to try and play catch up, and he just was not part of the game anymore.
Situation matters.
Yeah, so he still managed to get 112 yards on 20 carries and another 24 yards on 3 out of 3 receptions between those games. So he didn't drop a single pass. And those are great numbers. Like if you were to throw a touchdown in there, that's running back one numbers.
For me, Alexander Madison is tied for the second most important handcuff.
Yeah. And I mean, we've been preaching Alexander Madison if you're the Dalvin Cook owner for years now.
Yeah.
Which,
so
it's important. Like, you need to have him.
Yeah. The guy that he's tied with for me is this next guy, actually, Justin. I think you probably disagree, but Jamal Williams.
I mean, I think Alexander Madison is more important just because of Dalvin Cook's injury history. So
Aaron Jones has missed not as much time for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
I like how you talked yourself out of that instantly.
I'm rolling on coffee, man. There's a lot of thoughts going through my head right now.
But yeah, so Jamal Williams is who we're talking about. He's the last couple starts he had, he's averaged over 75 yards on the ground, 5 receptions, and a touchdown. I just expect that from him when he's starting. He's a great talent. And he could be much more than that even. Like, that is just what I expect him to do. And it's quite possible that he outperforms that. Like, you would never be shocked if Aaron Jones is out and Jamal Williams has a 100-yard game. Like, that's not shocking. And you're like, oh, okay, of course he did. He's the lead back and he's great.
Right.
And last year we saw like the 1-2 punch with them. They were amazing. And it hasn't been quite as prevalent this year, but he's still a great talent. So I still like him.
He's only 25. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Doesn't it feel like he's been around for a long time?
It does.
Yeah, only 25.
But yeah, I think if you own Aaron Jones, you need to have Jamal Williams. And the fact that he hasn't been as prevalent this season means he's probably on waivers and you can grab him.
Yeah. Okay, let's blast through these other couple.
Yeah, got a couple left. The first one's Lev Bell.
Dude, the touches last week, or well, at least the time on the field, these guys are like even at the moment.
Yeah, it's close. And if one of them goes down, the other one has a huge spike in production. I mean,
right.
It's just kind of what you'll expect because there's no one behind these two in the backfield that is close to their talent level.
Right. But the key is Le'Veon Bell is way more available than CEH.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, people may have dropped Lev Bell, so there's a chance that you could just scoop him up and he could be in your lineup, or not in your lineup, but sitting behind CEH.
Yep.
And this offense just scores so many points. I mean, there's points to go around. Like, everyone's eating there. Well, not all the wide receivers, but
or CEH.
Yeah, he gets a small plate at the table. He's still at the kids' table.
This next guy is my number one.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. That's Latavius Murray.
Number one waiver priority, number one handcuff for me.
Yeah, and it's been destroying Alvin Kamara, but as Perry brought up, it has not affected Latavius Murray. I had said with Taysom under center, I expected the Saints to want to run the ball more, and that has absolutely been the case. It's just been with Taysom Hill and Latavius Murray, and Alvin Kamara just on the sideline looking like, what about me, guys? Can I play?
It's just because Taysom Hill doesn't drop the ball off to Alvin Kamara 14 times a game, like Drew Brees does. And for me, I think the coaching staff is going to realize this and be like, we need to get him involved. Like, this needs to be part of the game plan here. So I expect that to change. But Latavius Murray, number one waiver priority by far. If Alvin Kamara were to go down, Latavius Murray's borderline like top 5 art running back.
Yeah.
So.
And then the last one I got, or no, sorry, I have a couple more. I'll be kind of quick. I was into my page. Boston Scott, he's averaging 12 carries a game, 50 yards on the ground, 2 receptions, 24 yards, and touchdown in that time. Not amazing numbers. And also, this was prior to last night's game. That did not factor into this. They're not great numbers, but with the playoff matchups that the Eagles have, you want a piece of that running back. So, and especially if you have Miles Sanders, he goes down, then you need to put Boston Scott in the lineup during that time, get a piece of that pie.
Yeah. Boston Scott still sounds like a chain restaurant.
Right.
But you can definitely get pie there. So
yeah, that's true. And I've heard it's delicious.
Of course it is.
I got 2 more guys to talk about real quick. That's Leonard Fortinet. He has not started a single game this season for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah, you thought that was a spelling error.
No, I didn't.
But he still managed to get 37 targets in 9 games and 69 carries over that time, despite being the number 2 back. So if Rojo goes down for any reason, Fournette is a must start every week. Would you agree, Doctor?
Yeah. Yes, of course. I concur.
Yeah. Tony Pollard is the last guy I got here. I mean, we haven't really got to see him for an entire game this season. But Dallas has had so many changes in its offensive line and quarterback. It's hard to look at past seasons to know exactly what kind of production to expect from him if Zeke were to miss any time. But we do know if Zeke goes down, this is his backfield. Like, he's not competing for touches. He's just taking over Zeke's role. I
have no problem. Like, I think that Tony Pollard will be very good.
Yeah. And
very good.
He averages 5 yards per carry and has had 1 fumble. And Zeke, on the other hand, has averaged about 1 yard per carry and 5 fumbles a game.
Oh, my God.
Not exact stats. Not exact.
I saw that tweet.
Yeah, but like I think that he would actually be more productive than Zeke at this point if he were to play, though.
Yeah, something's wrong with Zeke. I don't think he wants to play.
Yeah, he doesn't seem motivated. Like, he knows they're not playing for anything. Tony Pollard's playing to win his job.
Right.
Or a job somewhere else.
A job somewhere else.
That's
okay.
That's all the handcuffs that I think are notable. There's definitely other running backs out there that have handcuffs, but I don't think any of those are worth even considering.
Yeah. Now that Austin Eckler appears to be back, I would put Kalen Ballage in there. I think Kalen Ballage will be healthy should he be needed if Austin Eckler were to get injured.
Yeah, again. I like that one. I do like that one.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us.
Another perfect episode. We never
stuck
make
the landing.
It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, it's 10s all around. I shattered my shins on the way down, but I did not budge.
Yeah, you didn't show it, and that's what counts.
Yeah, that's what the judges are looking for. They want to see compound fractures, but they don't want to see you react.
They want to hear compound fractures, but they don't want to see them.
Anyways, I don't know how we get to where we're at every time we talk, but it's been fun.
Yeah, we'll see you guys here in a couple days for our next episode. Talk some start sits.